Hi, I'm Teresa Duncan.
And I'm Kevin Henry.
Welcome to Chew on This.
We are excited to bring you our views of current topics in the dental industry and put a little different spin on them, giving you something to chew on.
If you need to jump off, be sure to check the show notes for links as well as how to get in touch with us.
And now, let's give you something to chew on.
And we are back with another edition of Chew on This. K-Dog, what's up?
Teresa, good to see you. How was ADOM?
Oh, man. ADOM was crazy busy. You know that conference, like there's just people everywhere. Usually I would say I don't get to see half the people that I want to see. I don't think I even saw a quarter of the people. It was just too crazy, but you were missed. We definitely could have used some K-Dog there.
I missed being there, but I was still recovering from the South African trip, but I was cheering you on from afar. Absolutely.
Yes, and your lovely bride, Dana, was there. Dana Johnson of
I let
Navoni.
her represent. Yeah, absolutely.
She did.
Yeah.
She did. The booth traffic was pretty outstanding, and I hear she's a happy camper.
She said it was great. I mean, she had nothing but good things to say about not only the traffic, but just the overall vibes of the thing.
Well, so next year we are in Round Rock, Texas at the Kalahari, which sounds very jungle-like, but I think it's a desert. Like, how does a word sound like a jungle and a desert at the same time?
It's very demure.
Isn't that a copyright word?
There you
Okay,
go.
so people, if you're not sure, there's this whole demure thing going on. Some influencer came up with this very demure.
Yeah, that's the whole thing now. I hear you get a lot of Riz if you use that. So see.
Riz, which is short for charisma. Did you know that? Well, I had to explain this to my boy because he was like,
I love you know, explain this to Noah.
He's like Riz. I said, like charisma, and he goes, oh, like he's thinking Riz is a standalone word. I was like, oh, my child. But to be fair, somebody got too lazy to say charisma and just came up with Riz, I guess.
Eventually, we're just going to call this the On podcast because, Chew on This is too much to say. So, hey, On, there. Yeah.
Today on. All right. So one thing that I know happened at ADOM is that a lot of women of my age came together.
Young 20?
So yes, very, very, yes. Checks in the mail. So, and I understand you sent over your story that you wanted to go over. And I thought, wow, I was just in a whole conference full of women just like this. So go ahead, K-Dog, tell everybody what kind of women we're talking about.
You know what? I'm going to tackle a topic that a lot of guys probably won't talk about, but here I am putting myself out there. Here we go. Let's talk about menopause. How about that? Oh,
yay.
Yeah. There it is. All right. So, it was really interesting. Editor-in-chief for Dr. Bicuspid here, and I get all these press releases and everything that comes out. And this one was really interesting. This came from Delta Dental of California, and of course, we'll link to it in the show notes. But the headline was Breaking the Silence on Menopause. More than half of women over the age of 40 say they have experienced a change in the appearance of their teeth or gums as they age. And I thought, interesting, another oral systemic link, maybe we're not talking about this enough. And immediately I go, okay, menopause, how can my dental assistants better talk about this with their patients being female? Is it a female to female conversation? But I was scrolling through this, and one of the things that stood out to me that I thought was really interesting, more than 4 in 5 dentists, 84% who responded to the survey, said they were comfortable or very comfortable discussing the impact of menopause on oral health with their female patients. And nearly 4 in 5 dentists surveyed say that they understand the impact of menopause on oral health would lead to better oral health outcomes for their patients. Now, I have to be honest, those numbers really surprised me because I'm thinking, unless it's a female dentist, are you really comfortable talking about that with your female patients? But maybe the numbers are breaking that myth in my mind.
I'm having a hard time with those numbers.
Yeah.
So I know that we are graduating more women dentists. Okay. So that could be a big part of it. But I'm thinking of a dentist in his early 30s and talking to me and saying, you're in that age range and, watch my head just switch over, like, what are you talking about? What age range? Well, I wouldn't be as dramatic as that, but it would make me go, oh, dang, I do look like I'm in that age range, right? So,
one thing we know about the dental practice is that there are a lot of subjects that could come up in there that often don't. Let's face it, we don't like to talk about oral cancer. We don't like to talk about HPV. We don't like to talk about tobacco cessation, or do you
Hmm.
smoke marijuana, or anything else? And now you're adding this to the list as well. And I'm not really sure that that young 30 dentist is comfortable talking to his patient about menopause versus marijuana or any kind of drug usage. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Like, what's scarier, asking me if I get high or asking if I get hot flashes? Like, what's scarier, right? So, but maybe I'm being too pessimistic. Maybe the new crop of dentists coming out of dental school are prepped for these types of conversations, or maybe they know how important the systemic link, and maybe I'm going off my own biases. So, I guess I would have given the benefit of the doubt to the numbers that you gave
Yep,
out, but just knowing offices like I've been in them before and know doctors and hear all this stuff about doctors, they have so much to talk about. And it's so much easier. It's human nature to tackle the easy stuff, not the uncomfortable
for
stuff.
sure. And
Yeah.
one thing that was kind of interesting as I went through this, I didn't see it. Now, I'll be honest, I haven't exactly read it a lot, but I scanned it. And one thing that I noticed was that it didn't talk about hygienists talking to their patients about this. And
Hmm.
again, we know the high density of females that are in the hygiene field. And so
Yeah.
I'm thinking this is a great thing for hygienists to know, because I think if you're talking about changes in gums and everything else, that's right up their alley. And that's something they should actually have the knowledge base to talk about with those patients in their chair.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it would be a lot easier for the hygienist or the assistant to do it. And I'll tell you why. It's because we're always reviewing the medical history to
Mhm.
see if there's been any updates. And that would be a really good opening to talk about it. Like, if we know, so assistants and hygienists listening, if you know that this particular medication is a hormonal medication, maybe we flag the dentist and the dentist brings it up, or maybe the hygienist brings it up. I would think, and maybe we're being sexist, Kevin. Maybe
We
we're
might
sitting here
be.
thinking, female would be easier with female. Maybe we're the ones who are maybe calling it biased. I don't know.
I mean, I was hoping to get a gold star for even saying menopause, on the podcast, but I think you're right. I mean, but I'll admit my very first thought was female dentist is not present in the practice. Who
Hmm.
could be that champion to talk about this? Because obviously there's research, there's science to say that this is going on. It's something we should be passing on to our patients. My thought was I would rather it be shared by somebody in the practice rather than
Hmm.
nobody in the practice, of course.
Well, so I'm guessing with the medicine that we're on, I mean, most medicine has some sort of impact on our systemic link and on the state of our mouths, whether or not it's saliva, dry mouth, all that kind of
Sure.
stuff. So, did it say anything, or in your scan, did it say anything about, like, I know you said increasing perio in there? I know it has a detrimental
It,
effect on it. I did read that part when you
yeah.
sent it over to me.
The stat that jumped out to me was 27% of women aged 40 to 49 have missed work in the last 12 months because of dental issues.
Mm.
So you're talking about 1 out of every 4 women who have had something going on with their dentistry. Now, is it that direct link? We don't know
Hmm.
that, but it's worth at least bringing up, I think.
Well, there's definitely direct links when it comes to, well, I should, you know what? Some scientist is going to call me out. There has been strong linkages, let me do it that way,
Ooh.
between prenatal, low birth weight, I should say, low birth weight babies, and then also the ability to conceive. So there's been studies linking presence of periodontal bacteria to mothers who had just lost spontaneous miscarriages. They found those bacteria in the blood work.
Okay.
So there's actually links between that. I know that they were testing the effect on prostate too.
Mhm.
So you've got all sorts of stuff going on with perio. It's not just you could get diabetes. That's the biggest thing people think about, is it's diabetes, but it's not. There's all so many other things there.
And I think there's a lot of people in dental practice kind of roll their eyes whenever we talk about the oral systemic link, because we've talked about it for so long and we miss opportunities to talk about it with our patients just because we think, oh, I've already heard about that, or yeah, I read something about that, where your patient may not have. I think it's just so important. We were so heightened during the pandemic about, what's connected to what and what could cause what. And I think we've become a little bit numb to that in the 4 years since.
There needs to be some sort of other slogan, because you're right. The oral systemic link, I feel like if you've been in this industry longer than 10 years, like, you're like, another course on oral
Right.
systemic link. So there's got to be something. I mean, we have to come up with, you're the PR person. You got to come up with some kind of background or some kind of slogan or jingle, like, puffy gums, bad blood, or something like
Ooh,
that.
there you go.
You know, like, I mean,
I'll
because
work on
it's,
that.
yeah, puffy gums all through your body. You know, wrap it. Can you wrap it? Why do I associate puffy with rap? It's because of Puff Diddy. Puff, Puffy D, or what? I don't
We'll
know what
see
his
if we
name
come
is.
back with a rap for the next episode about yo, your gums are puffy. That ain't fly. You know,
That's pretty fly for a puffy guy.
there you
Yeah,
go.
we are the worst rappers in the
Yeah,
world, I
we
say.
are. We are. Just
Oh gosh. All right. So if menopause makes women unhappy temporarily,
temporarily.
I'm always curious as to where the happy people are
Oh,
versus the unhappy
the
people. And I
spin.
was thrilled, K Dog, to find that Wallet Hub has put together a study on the 50 happiest states. And
Oh,
so, you know, you and I'm Virginia, you're Colorado. So
see?
this is a perfect opportunity for us to get in our digs at each other's states.
All
And
right.
you're also representing Oklahoma, and I also represent North Carolina.
There you go.
Okay,
See?
so
Okay.
we've got primary states, secondary states. And so I'm going to share my screen.
All
Let's
right,
go
I'm
ahead and
ready.
do
I have
that.
no idea what the rankings are, by the way. This is all blind to me. So,
This is. And for those of you who are audio only, don't worry. We will definitely be showing this, you know, sharing the show notes, and you can see everything that Kevin is now seeing.
ooh,
So here's the happiest states in America, just hot, fresh off the press. And about 47% of Americans saying they are very satisfied with their lives. So the other
53%.
53 are, you know, maybe not there, but maybe they're not terribly upset. So here we have the map
Ooh.
of happiest states in the US. And so I'm going to scroll onto the ones so that we can see like which ones are actually happy or not. So, but first, what is your guess as to the happiest state?
You know, Minnesota always does well in well-being and everything else and health. So let me
Okay.
throw out, and I see they're in a darker shade too, so I may be cheating, but I'm going to go Minnesota.
Okay, let me hover over. Minnesota is number 6.
Oh, okay. All right.
Not
I'll take
bad.
that
All
sense.
right, second chance.
Whew. All right. I'll stay and let's be biased and go west here. I see my neighbors in Utah.
Okay.
Skiing, outdoors, all that good stuff. Let's go Utah.
Number 4. You're
Okay. All
getting
right.
close, but
Tell
no
me.
cigar, my friend.
Oh,
Let's go down here to the dark blue state of
oh, of
Hawaii.
course. Hawaii.
Hawaii is number 1. And then let me see here. So let's see. Virginia, number 16.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Now I know you're nervous.
Well,
I
you're
know you're
darker than
nervous.
me, so yeah. Oh.
Colorado, number 35.
Wow, we are not happy here for some reason.
What happened
I
over
don't know. There's
there?
something that's the dividing line there between Utah and Colorado that we're just not pleased.
But you moved into a better state because Oklahoma's 43.
Oof, yeah. I love my southern peeps, but yeah, that's not looking good down in that region.
And my relatives to the south, North Carolina, is at 24.
Okay.
So I don't think any of our friends, K Dog, would have said that I'm happier than you. I'm just saying.
You know, we need to take an informal poll sometime, you know. Next time
I'm
we come,
pretty, I'm pretty sure none of our friends would have seen that one coming.
how about on December 12th? We'll take a poll. That'll be part of our presentation we're going to talk about here in a minute. There you go.
Very nice segue
There you
into
go.
our chew on this webinar, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So, number 2 is Maryland. You can see it on the
Oh,
screen, which completely shocks me because Maryland drivers are pretty much the most unhappy people I've ever met. Yes, I said it. Sorry. I know we just lost the state of Maryland.
there's happiness in crab cakes.
I do get
Yeah,
happy with
maybe
crab.
that's what it is.
Okay. New Jersey, also very, very happy. I'm going to say they just don't have a choice about it. I just saying the mob's up, maybe the mob's up there.
You
I don't
will
know.
be happy. Somehow. There
That's
you go.
right. And then followed by Delaware, Minnesota, Connecticut, Idaho. I'm surprised Idaho's not up more. Nebraska, and then of course Massachusetts are one of our favorite states because of the Yankee Dental
We do love,
Congress, number 10.
yep, we
Right?
do love Massachusetts.
Yep. So let's go on down
Oh
to
boy.
the bottom tier.
Oh boy.
Okay, so least in happiness
Ooh.
is Louisiana. I think it's because of the alligators. I'm
You
just
know,
saying. Arkansas because of the feral pigs.
you know, to our friends in Bentonville, Little Rock. Sorry, but you know the feral pigs are everywhere. Yes.
West Virginia, I don't know why West Virginia is there. I feel like West Virginia is one of the most beautiful states I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
Tennessee, same. New Mexico, kind of hot. And Alaska, kind of cold.
Kind of cold.
So
It's
then we
expert
have
analysis, folks. You won't get anywhere else.
Alabama, Oklahoma, then Mississippi, Kentucky, and
Ooh.
Ohio, which I have a lot of friends in Ohio. None of them, I think, are very unhappy.
But 41 through 50 there, with the exception of a couple of things, it's our southern friend. That bothers me a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little weird, right? Okay,
Yeah.
can you still see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So I wanted to show you the highest is Oklahoma with a share of adult depression. Is that kind of sad?
Well, especially during football season. Yes, that's pretty normal. So, somebody's depressed every week along the way. So, yeah.
Oh, wait a second. I'm sorry. I am misreading this. It is Tennessee that is the worst.
Yeah.
Let me see. Worst state. That's what it is.
And
Tennessee.
where did Maine pop up there, by the way?
You know what? I bet. So Maine is very seasonal. It's very cold and it can be dark early.
Sure.
Maybe that's what's going on there.
Could be. Yeah, I see that.
I don't know. It's kind of weird. Vermont gets the most sleep, probably because of, again,
That is hilarious.
Yep. And then Hawaii gets the least amount of sleep, which is very strange.
Well,
Maybe
they're
it's
happy. They don't need sleep. They're just out surfing.
Yeah, like there's always a pig barbecue going on, right?
I mean, I'm there, actually. That sounds pretty good.
We need to do a live there. Okay, so we've got Colorado. You are a big winner.
Woo!
You are a big winner. And so Colorado, and people are like, what is he winning? Let me just show you.
Oh.
Do you hear that?
I do.
You are the #1 in sports participation rates.
Yes. Yep. And I'm going to play pickleball after this. So see, it all lines
right.
up. There you go.
That's right. So for those of you that are not sure, K-Dog is actually a pickleball dog. He and his lovely bride. What is the name of your team?
Oh God! Now you caught me off guard. The sausages. I will have to get back to you on that. It's something about the stuff.
It's such a competitive team. Yeah. Okay, and Mississippi has the least amount of sports participation.
Yeah, a lot of, unfortunately, the South again. And trust me, I'm a Southerner at heart. I say y'all all the time, but I will tell you, if you look at all the health statistics, everything else, the South just always ranks low, and it just kills me to see that.
Listen, it's hot. There's nothing better than sitting on your porch with a glass of iced tea or lemonade. What my family does. So,
yeah.
You know, I don't know if I'd be much different. I think I'd be sitting on a porch somewhere. Look, we both just drank from our huge, giant cups. Like here. Shout out to the Oklahoma Manager Study Club. My cup is bigger than yours, Kevin. So just you know, our mugs. We just held up our big, very competitive today. All right. So unfortunately, they did measure the suicide rate. New Jersey has the lowest suicide rate. Montana has the worst suicide rate. I really am blown away by this one. And then you have Alaska and Wyoming. And I'm going to say those 3 states are pretty beautiful.
They are? But, yeah. I'm going to go with the dark on you.
You think so? And maybe because they're isolated, maybe there's a lot more, I don't know, I guess you're not around people as much, and that's a big issue.
Yeah, there's a lot of wide open spaces in all those states. And yeah.
Okay. But New Jersey, Massachusetts, New York, I'm just going to say they're too busy. Like, honestly, no time. And, you know, if you don't think about it, idle hands, you know, you're not thinking about it. Work hours, Utah has the fewest amount of work hours. So all of our friends in the Silicon Slopes in Utah there, we know you really don't work according to this. Sorry, Alaska seems to work the most. Long-term unemployment rate, South Dakota, I think they do. The lowest, South Dakota, is pretty good. I'm sorry, the other way. And then New Jersey has the most long-term unemployment rate.
But they're one of the happiest. So
maybe being unemployed is happiness. Maybe
that's true. Maybe there's gamers and they just play Madden all the time. It's not bad.
So income growth, Kevin, the highest is Idaho.
These are what all our dental peeps should be looking at right here. Where's the highest income growth?
Yep. Idaho, Washington, Oregon. All of those not on my side of the country.
I'm thinking you need to fly here and we need to do a road show in Cheyenne or in Laramie or one of the Wyoming towns. I think they need that. It's looking like.
Any Wyoming dental people, you're looking for speakers. We're there.
Here we are.
Volunteer rate, Utah. And I'm just going to say, those Mormons like to help.
Yeah.
Utah's full of Mormons.
But I peeked ahead to the next one and I'm like, oh, they like to do something else too. But anyway.
Yeah, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Slow down there, Kevin.
I peeked ahead, sorry.
Florida is the lowest volunteer rate. And I think it's because everybody's old and they've spent their whole life helping other people. And now they're at the FM stage of life.
You know what? We get there. And can I say one more thing before we move on?
Sure.
How are the volunteer rates? Is Tennessee not #1 when you are the volunteer state? disappointing
Absolutely.
there.
You're right. We should actually
I
take
mean,
out an ad and say, shame on you. Shame.
shame,
Shame.
shame, shame.
So now we have the divorce rate, which you saw. Actually, Utah has the lowest divorce rate. They're happy.
Oh, that's right. There you go.
Happy together, right? I also think that I think their church pretty much frowns on it. And I say this, people, because there's a ton of Mormons in Utah. So their church is not happy with the divorce thing. But if you're in New Mexico, you better be
Wow.
ready to sign on the papers and say
And
goodbye.
and we know Florida man has something to do with divorce rates too. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, so the lowest divorce rates, just for people, because I know this is where people are like, where do I rank?
Yeah.
So the lowest divorce rates are Utah, North Dakota, New Jersey, Hawaii, again, too happy, Minnesota, too happy to get divorced.
True.
And the highest divorce rates, Florida. You're right, Florida man. That man gets around.
He does. Where?
Mississippi, Louisiana, Nevada, New Mexico. When it's really hot down south, they're not playing games. They are apparently getting into trouble.
You know, it's what you do. Hey.
I'm just going to say, if you're going to sit out on the porch, just make sure it's your porch and not someone else's porch, right? So just
That's a good lesson for all of us, Teresa.
Thank you very much. All right. So, and then last but not least, the issue of safety came up. Vermont, Maine, New Hampshire, Utah, Massachusetts, all very safe states.
Wow, the New England area. Look at that.
Yeah. Florida, Texas, Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, not very safe at all.
Not safe.
Not very safe at all. What's going on in Arkansas? Arkansas is not having a good time with this study.
You know, and it's too bad because actually there's parts of Arkansas that are absolutely beautiful as well, but can't know what's going on behind closed doors, my friend.
Listen, I was told once that Arkansas has, I think, the second or third most amount of waterfront property in the U.S. because of all the rivers and lakes that it has. And I still am like blown away by that. And it is absolutely beautiful. So there's a whole bunch of other stats there, but I just thought, you know what, our people would like to know where on earth, you know, they should go if they want to be happy. And it appears that Hawaii, Maryland, New Jersey are where you want to go. So, yeah. So what do you think of that, Kevin? Are you ready to move?
I'm booking a flight to Trenton right now. I'm going to spend a little extra time with Greater New York. You know, just pop over and see what's really going on over there, I tell you.
Maybe we should make a personal promise to ourselves to visit the most unhappy states and bring a little bit of sunshine to them. How about that?
You know what? I like that. That makes my heart just a little bigger, like the grand chair. I'm telling you.
Just stay on your porch, Kevin. We'll be all right, right? So I think that's kind of interesting. Not really applicable really to all of our work that we do in the office, but as a whole, it's kind of nice to see that there's always room for improvement. And, you know, if you're in Hawaii, I know Hawaii has a lot of problems too, but you know, relax, go out in the sun, have yourself a pig roast.
You know what? If your patients are cranky, you need to look at this list and go, oh, here's why. We're in the 43rd happiest state. Now it makes sense, you know?
Or, you know, if you're in Virginia, you could point here and go, you're not in Colorado, though.
Hey, that's right. Things could be worse. You could be in Colorado. See?
You could be over there with all those sports nuts. All right. So that is my contribution today. But you're right. We do have an upcoming webinar in December, which is going to get here like before you know it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's crazy how fast this year is going, but I cannot wait. Yep. Hanging with you on December 12th, talking all sorts of trends, talking all sorts of things that are going to impact the dental practice in 2025. We're going to look into that crystal ball and see what's coming.
So, and we did this a couple years ago and it was a hit. We had a lot of people that really liked it. I don't know what happened last year. We just kind of blew right past it, right?
We were just like, yeah.
We're tired. It's like that Green Mile. I'm just tired, boss.
Good. December, I'm wiped. Oh, sorry. No. But this year, we're back.
This year, so we had to put it in the schedule, but you know what? I'm looking forward to it. You're right. We do kind of bring up some talking points as far as what to look out for next year, but we also are going to go over the hottest stories of this year.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, if you've been a loyal listener, we absolutely appreciate you. I heard from several people at ADOM that they like both. They crack up at our shenanigans. So thank you for listening. But if you're a brand newer listener and haven't delved back into ye old archives, you're in for a treat.
There's some nuggets of knowledge in there. There's no question.
Nuggets of knowledge. That's our best. That's our best of title. Nuggets of knowledge. All All right. So we will link that in the show notes, though, so that you can just one click away and register for the webinar. Anything else, K-Dog?
No, I've got to start working on that wrap. So, I mean, we need to probably wrap this up because, I'm already starting to rhyme words and get faux shizzle. So,
Are you DJ Menopause or DJ Puffy Gums?
It's probably not something I'm going to throw out there at the Vegas clubs. It's DJ Menopause.
DJ Menopause, you get your own fan base built in. I don't know. That's pretty for a PR guy. I think you're overlooking the big picture here.
Well, and for, with this color hair, I might fit in just nicely. It'd be right there in the wheelhouse. So
you are a hit with the ladies, K-Dog. So DJ Menopause might be your calling in life. So. All right, before we lose everybody, I'm going to say goodbye. Dear listeners, we really appreciate that you get goofy and hang out with us. We'll see you next time.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Chew on This. We hope you laughed and learned a little.
Check out the show notes for any links we mentioned, and don't forget to give us a rating on your podcast app. Feel free to drop us a comment on social media or by email if you have any suggestions for future topics.
We'll be back in about 2 weeks. See you then.